Mark talked about, just recently there, Mark talked about with his presentation about the dissolved oxygen level. And I know there's probably people in this room that have called me in June, July, August, and you've talked about seeing these dead fish. And you know, that's remnants of what Mark talked about when those DO levels drop at night, early in the morning. And so we do experience that, and some of you probably have seen it. And you know, to combat that, as Mark showed the picture of the irrigators, we're going to get those back out and operational here real soon. If you're traveling back across Lakeshore Drive when you're on your way back home today, or if you get by Lakeshore Drive, if you notice on the hot water hole side there, you're going to see a box now right off the edge of the road right by a power pole. And if you look out in the hot water hole there, you'll see bubbles coming up. That's linear aeration. That was a donation by the Salina Lions Club to the city of Salina, and that just got installed this week, right, Joe?
I guess so.
Yeah, it just got installed, up and operational this week. So that's right there, you know, a public area there making use, so you can take a look at that today. And how many people on their way in today, when you drove across Lakeshore Drive, did you look out the lake and thought you seen a boat sinking? I won't point anybody out, but yeah, a couple of people. Here's what you've seen was our newest thing is the SolarBees, and these are some up close pictures that Mark's got up here now. And what you all seen out there on the lake was you seen the solar panel itself. It looks like the windshield of a boat. So that one is not where it needs to be yet. It's just the lake got rough and they couldn't get it put where it needs to be. We'll flip to the next one, Mark. Go back to that one you had. This, no, go back to that colored one of the solar bee. Right there. This basically shows you what the solar bee is going to do for us. And I should let Mark speak to this more than me, but basically it's going to be pulling some of that water off the bottom and circulating it up to the top. And you don't have a picture on there from the web blast where they're going to be at? Okay, well there's a web blast that went out if you got it. Where they're going to be is there's 2 down at the West Beach, down near the State Park office. And then there's going to be 4 out in front of the intake at the City of Salina's water intake out there. So there's going to be 6 total on the lake. We will be putting flashers on top of those, so when people start boating, you'll see them, but they're well within the no-wake zone. So if you leave today, or if you got a chance, go back to Lakeshore Drive, and in the hot water hole right now, there's 3 units tied to docks right now. And you can stop and take a look at them. You can walk up on the dock, and basically you can touch them, look right at them right now before they get them pulled out into the lake and get them anchored. They just anchor them down with some buckets of concrete. They're solar powered, so no electric, and as you see with the other picture, we're going to be circulating water, pulling it up from the bottom and circulating it. This is at no cost to anyone here in the community. We've been trying to work with SolarBee, what, a couple years now, Tim? We've been talking to them, and we finally talked them into bringing their technology to the lake and demonstrating how effective it could be. And then if they can prove that it's effective, then we'll look at possibly where we go from there. So 4 units at the near the intake over here off the West Bank, and then 2 down at the West Beach. So like I said, you get a chance today, stop and check those out. And then we ask, you know, that when you are boating, that of course, you know, that you stay clear of these. So, all right. Moving on, Mark touched on the rough fish. Don talked about the rough fish. We have redeployed our trap nets on the West Bank and on one of the islands over near Coldwater Creek, and to date the guys have removed about 5,200 pounds of carp. So we're just getting started. Just last week the water temperatures are now getting up to where they're really starting to get active. So we've got 5 trap nets we're running right now, so those numbers will just continue to grow. So moving on to the Prairie Creek treatment train, you got that picture there. I know some folks have seen this. I mean, you guys have seen this numerous times, but the newest thing is, when you're getting out there boating is the construction of the in-lake wetland is now going on, and basically my understanding is the contractor is over in this area right now, and they're building a low berm which will wrap back up here to the western side of the Sunnyside or Maples Cottonwood Park channel here. But this is underneath construction right now. We've got some buoys out here. As you guys have heard Milt say in the past, it's not going to be a real high rock dike like you're accustomed to. It's going to be a little bit lower. So we are going to put some poles and some lights up on it. Just last week, the blue box up here that you've all seen off 219 here, that all got kicked in. The first load of alum and chitosan came in, and it's all operational now. So there is a little parking lot right there, a little gravel parking lot right next to the blue building. What I would recommend is, I mean, these are your dollars that are making this thing work, is stop there, parking in that little gravel parking lot, and take a look at that system. And what you'll see there is just beyond the blue trailer, you'll see a couple of what we call settling basins, to where we're pumping in those chemicals and dropping out those nutrients and the sediment out, and then the water flows from there. Then the settling ponds are right here. Then the water flows through these wetlands and eventually into the backside of the old Prairie Creek Island. And then as we get this built, it'll flow through here. So as Mark talked about getting that vegetation going, anybody that's familiar with the lake knows that in here we typically have lily pads every year. They come back. And why? As Mark talked about, I've got to believe Mark, he's the scientist, not me, but this is calmer water in here. And so what we're talking about is this berm has been built now, this berm is in, so all this water now is going to be calm. And what we're looking to see is this whole area to have vegetated growth in it. Those lily pads will just expand. And I'm hoping this summer is what we'll see is this whole area will be full of lily pads and other vegetation. And then to take that to the next step, we're going to calm this area down. And we're going to be pumping some dredge material in it to make it shallower. And eventually then this will be full of vegetation also. And Mark hit on those key points today of one of the reasons, as Dave asked, why we've lost that vegetation and how do we reestablish it. Well, we're hoping by just nature alone that this will all reestablish itself with vegetation through here. So, and if not, we're working with Mark's company. We'll look at that. If we need to help it along, we will. So be familiar when you get your boats out this spring. A couple things you're going to see is this, the eastern side of the mouth of Prairie Creek, there is a rock dike across there. That is a higher dike, is here. And then just be aware that you're going to see this new dike out here when you get out there. So, okay? We still did maintain we will be maintaining a channel here to get into Sunnyside and into Cottonwood Park, Maples, those areas. That channel is going to be about 250 foot wide in there. So, okay? So that is up and operational. I'd recommend you stop and check that out. And if you got any questions, you can get a hold of one of the board members, get a hold of myself, and we can gladly answer those for you. So, moving on a little bit about the area itself and what we're starting to see with tourism. I was talking to Stan Grimm this morning, the owner of Bem's Landing there. We're starting to see things come back a little bit. We've got caller ID at our phone at the state park office, so I can see that we're getting a lot of 937, 513 area codes calling and asking a lot of questions, saying they're looking forward to coming up to the lake. And a lot of them say to come back or to come up for the first time. So I was talking to Donna earlier with the CVB, and last year was the first year we've seen the largest increase in bed tax in the two-county area in quite some time. The bed tax is paid by the hotels. There's a bed tax, a 3% bed tax that's collected that is how we operate the Auglaize Mercer County Convention and Visitors Bureau. And when you look at those numbers, in 2009 and 2010, those 2 years combined, we've seen a 23% decrease in bed tax from 2008. In 2011, we got excited because we've seen a 1% increase. It's pretty hard to believe we got excited over a 1% increase. But in 2012, we've seen an 8% increase. And we've talked to the hoteliers, because I sit on a board with them, and they say that, construction does have something to do with it, but they're definitely seeing an increase back in our tourism. So, and those are motels ranging from Wapak, all the way into Salina. So we are receiving some positive feedback. I've talked to some of the businesses around the lake, talked to Stan this morning. Things are starting to pick up. So we're looking forward to a good year, I hope. So.